Welcome back to Lady Tradie. Today I want to talk to you about selling your home. In Australia at the moment we are in a huge property boom and prices are going bonkers if you are doing the right things. So I just want to talk through some of the key things that in my experience I've found to be the most important aspects of not only selling quickly but getting more than market value for your home. Oh, she just always wants to be up here with me. Are you going to help me talk about houses? Yes? Okay. So the first thing is the entrance. The entrance is really important. It's not only the first thing that people see when they come to see your home, but it also is that first impression. And first impressions count. Having a welcoming entrance makes a huge difference. So outside of the home, making sure that it is neat and tidy, but even as they open the front door and walk into the home, having some kind of eye-catching artwork or something that is really relatable to you, that makes the home feel warm and cozy or modern or whatever the vibe that you're going for, have a statement piece in your entrance. Also make sure it's spotless clean. So again, first impressions count. You want to make sure that it's spotless when they first walk into the home. So get a new doormat, replace the front door or repaint the front door if you need to, but make an impact. The second thing I always notice when I'm looking at a home is the floor. So modern flooring is really lovely to see, but if you are not spending a fortune on this house and you just want to sell it and it's time to move on, make sure the floor is really nice and clean. If you've got tiles, make sure that they're spotless and the grout looks really good as well. If you do have the budget to replace anything, timber flooring is always popular, but also I recommend a medium grey tile. So grey is popular at the moment. It's also very versatile. So grey hides a lot of marks and chips and dirt that can build up on the floor without it standing out. So that's a good option if you are looking at replacing floor. Something that is relatively cheap to do that is a must before selling is painting the walls. So either get somebody in to paint for you or do it yourself. If you can't do the whole house, at least do the entrance and the main living area. It's not as noticeable in bedrooms, and usually by the time people that are inspecting your home get to the bedroom, they're not necessarily looking at those types of things like the walls anymore. They're looking around at the size and positioning of things inside that room. So a fresh coat of paint is an absolute must. Bright is fantastic. So if you've got different colors in different rooms, maybe it's time to get rid of that and just make it all the one bright white color. Makes the rooms look bigger, it makes the house seem brighter and more inviting as well. Where possible, get new lighting. So replacing old light fixtures with modern downlights that use LEDs. Have them switched on when people are coming to look at your home. It makes it open, it makes it bright, and having modern LEDs throughout the home makes it more energy efficient as well. If you can't do that yourself and you don't want to spend the money getting somebody in to do it, at least changing bulbs over for bright white bulbs as opposed to the warm light bulbs makes it feel a lot newer and fresher and more inviting. The same goes for kitchens and bathrooms. So white bathrooms are always an eye-opener. So again, if it means a fresh coat of white paint on the walls, if you have tiles that are outdated and you are able to replace them, it's worth going with a lighter, more modern tile. But also there are other options for tiles. So you can renovate those yourself. There's tile paint that's out there that if it's done properly works really, really effectively. And you can give that old bathroom a fresh new look by simply painting those tiles. You can also give it a pop of color if you want. So using, bath mats and towels that add color to that bathroom to freshen it up. So if you're not going to change the tiles, if you've got darker tiles, I would recommend using white towels. If you've got white tiles or cream tiles, then sometimes it's nice to use a little bright pop of color in adding a towel here or there. Now, white kitchens sell. but people also like a hit of glam in their kitchen. So again, you can paint tiles on the backsplash if need be to update those. You can get really beautiful glass splashbacks. One of my favorite splashbacks is a smoky mirror, because it mirrors the room, which makes everything feel larger, but because it's smoky, it doesn't show up all the specks of you know, cooking splashes that might happen in there as well, and it just makes it a little bit more subtle. The bench tops are also important. If you can afford to replace bench tops and go with something more modern like a quartz or a smart Caesar stone or something like that, then it's definitely worthwhile doing. If you can't, again, they can be painted, they can be freshened up. You can sometimes get your hands on some second-hand bench tops that may fit the same specs as yours. Look into it, see what you can do to make it more modern. If you can't touch the bench tops, that's fine. What can you do about the cupboards? Okay, so can you paint the cupboards or update the cupboard fronts in some way? It might be as simple as just updating the handles on the cupboards to make it feel and look more modern. You're a nightmare. You're a nightmare today. Another thing that I think is really important to totally replace is the toilets, particularly the toilet seats. So having fresh new toilets, believe it or not, psychologically it sits well with most buyers and always looks nicer in the bathroom as well. We all know that over time there's wear and tear on toilet seats and stains, and it's really good to replace those. It's also relatively inexpensive and can be done yourself. The last thing, and it's a big thing as well, is the garden. So people love established gardens, especially here in Queensland, in Australia. We love a good garden, but we don't like overgrown gardens. So if you have a garden that is just getting out of control and it is starting to look overgrown and it feels daunting to a buyer coming to your home, because then they have to deal with it themselves, you're best to get rid of it as much as possible. So simple gardens sell houses because the owner knows that it's going to be easy to maintain. So the front garden, again, for first impressions, I recommend symmetry. If you can do something, even if it's just pot plants that create some form of symmetry out the front, your brain loves symmetry and will respond positively to that. So that is something I would recommend for out the front. Try to keep the garden as well maintained but simple as possible. Out in the back garden, you can let things go a little bit more. People are less concerned about the back garden, but still making sure that it appears to be easy to maintain and well looked after. And last but not least, declutter. So if you can, get some storage boxes and put a lot of your personal items away. That even might mean removing some pictures and photos off the walls. Declutter as much as possible. You really want to make your home feel inviting and modern, and often that's not possible if your personal belongings are everywhere. People will come into your home and it won't feel like their home, and they won't see the potential in making it their home when it's full of your personal belongings. So whatever you can declutter, do so, put it aside, put it away, put it in the boot of the car while you have people visiting your home or having the photos taken of your home. Declutter whatever you can and make sure that the walls are nice and fresh with some art or something a little bit more modern, open and inviting. So overall, you want to show the buyers the potential your home has. If it's a blank slate and they can come in and make it their own, that is ideal. They want to walk in and imagine themselves living there. They want to walk in and see their things around your home. If it means that you might need to borrow some furniture or borrow some artworks off friends or family just for a weekend to make it look that way, then do so. People are more than happy to help you out if it means helping you sell your home. A lot of people also bake something while the open house is going on, so as you walk in the home you can smell fresh baking cookies or something delicious in the oven. Smell is really important. There are receptors in your brain that are triggered by smell, that make you remember things and moments that were important in life. They make you feel emotions. So while you may not want to bake some cookies that morning and make your house smell like that, it's really easy to get a diffuser or a candle or have something burning in the house that lets off a beautiful aroma for that reason. Now, some people don't like walking in and smelling things, so try to be subtle. Choose something that is fresh and subtle, maybe something sweet like a vanilla, something that you may not walk in and think straight away, oh, what does that smell? But subconsciously it's there in the background, making you enjoy this experience. It's probably important to mention as well things that don't pay off. So if you are doing a full renovation, there's a couple of things that don't pay off for you. So one of those is having a chef's kitchen. To be honest, most people won't use all of those appliances, and you're spending an absolute fortune creating a kitchen that looks amazing but is probably totally impractical and will scare some buyers off. That sometimes includes a butler's pantry. Now, they're really popular at the moment and a lot of people love butler's pantries, including me, but for some people that's a huge expense when renovating, to add a whole extra room effectively, and it doesn't necessarily pay off in the sale. And what I mean by that is when you go to sell that home again, you're not going to make back the money that you spent putting that in. And lastly, too much landscaping. So like I mentioned earlier, just keeping gardens well maintained and simple is the most appealing thing for a potential buyer. If you spend an absolute fortune on landscaping, that money is lost money. You are not going to get that back when you sell. People don't necessarily go buying houses based on the landscaping that is there. Again, a lot of people like to have that blank slate that they can do what they want with the home. Some people might want to add a pool or things like that, but none of this pays off in the long run. You can purchase a house with a pool right next to a house without a pool, and they're relatively the same in price. So adding big ticket landscaping items is also often dead money, so be careful. Another one is lighting bling, okay? So big, beautiful chandeliers and things like that in every single room just don't pay off. Again, you're spending a lot of money. Some of those things are way overpriced, and if they're not to your taste, you're not as likely to buy that home. So if you walk into a home and you think, oh, I have to replace this and I have to replace that, and oh gosh, that's not really my taste, you're less likely to purchase that home. So you're better off leaving it as a clean slate and letting people add their own touches themselves. So they are my tips if you are out in the housing market at the moment trying to sell or looking to renovate and flip a home and sell it quickly. They're the things that I would recommend doing, and they've always worked for me as well. So good luck and all the best in selling that home.